Welcome, y'all, to another interview here on the Mindset Matters channel, and it is going all the way up. Today, I have Mentally Great, y'all. MG. It is on and popping, man. The MG Army. They are really deep. He's got over 2.5 million plus followers just all across all platforms, which is really amazing, man. And because it's interesting, we're going to go into the story a little bit of how when I originally saw him to where he is now. But before we begin, I definitely wanted to say welcome to the stage of history. I am your illustrious host, Kevin Uncanny Anytime. And so, yeah, I wanted to definitely reach out to Mentally Great, man. His content is like super cool. Especially the one you did today, dude. It got me right away. I'm like, oh, the MJ and Kobe conversation. Here we go. Like, I like that one, man. I was like, oh, this is good, dude. Because that's kind of what we could actually. That'd be the third thing we could talk about because it piqued my interest initially because you were saying like who was better and you talked about the rings, but then you was like, but what made them great? That was the key, man. That's the key. And that was a good hook and everything, man. I really appreciate it. So just go ahead and if you can, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and tell them where to follow you and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm basically called Fuad, and on social media, everybody knows me as Mentally Grey MG. And what I aim to do through my content, through my channel, through my community, it's to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. And I feel like all of us, inside of all of us, we have that unlimited potential. We're capable of anything, but society comes in and puts limitations on ourselves. And we start to believe in those limitations, which are all nothing but illusions. They're not even real. But the moment you believe in illusions, that's when you're stuck in an illusion. And that's where you're not exploiting and showing the world your true potential. And I feel like Mentally Great is a place where through my content, people come in and this content starts to slowly change this perception of I'm limited, of I'm not good enough, of I'm not capable of this, of I don't believe in myself. And they slowly, more and more, day by day, video by video, habit by habit, mindset shifts by mindset shifts, they start to believe more in that inner potential of themselves. And I feel like um, I don't feel I know this is the main purpose of Mentally Great, and and yeah, that's basically it.
That's what's up, dude. Like, because a little bit of background story, you guys. I actually witnessed Mentally Great. Because we were just starting to trend a little bit at 3T. We were just starting to kind of get a following, and I remember Mentally Great came with JV. He went on an interview with him, and it was like it was weird. It was kind of a role reversal because we were just starting to pick up on YouTube a whole lot. And then you were like, man, how do just asking some questions and stuff like that. And it was really cool because we were in a position initially to where it seemed like we were a little larger than what we were, right? Me and Jay was always talking amongst ourselves like, dude, this is crazy because we were just two dudes in a gym just just pushing the idea, right, of challenging your mind and stuff like that. But then when you right after you interviewed with him, something crazy happened. Like I don't even know. That's what I wanted to ask you too. Is it's like how did this all like start to take off? Because I know Jay gave you like maybe just a couple of things, or a couple of um, like things to do, or manifestation practices or something like that, and then all of a sudden you exploded like crazy. I remember you saying like you interviewed with Gary Vee, and it was just a lot of stuff that was going on. I'm like, what happened, right? But we were so deep in everything we were doing, I didn't take the time to look into everything. But
Hmm.
share a little bit about how that journey went, like how you became mentally great.
So this journey started. So it wasn't. the explosion, so the growth that you're talking about, there was a lot of things that came before that that people didn't see.
Ah,
um Mentally Great started 10 years ago, before any social
wow.
media. That's when it started. I didn't have any
Nice.
account called Mentally Great, but that's when the journey started of Mentally
Got you.
Great. So
Yeah.
so since I was 10, my obsession, and I posted recently a video about this, was football. I wanted to go pro, and I was willing to do whatever it took. And
Nice.
the thing is, when I was very young, which is sometimes I look back, I'm like, what's wrong with this little kid? Just go have fun. Um, when I was very young, I used to be obsessed, like genuinely. Like I would come to trainings 3 hours before, I would leave 2 hours after, train 10 times more than the rest. It was just an obsession of mine. That's what Mentally Great, when Mentally Great started. I started watching these motivational videos at the age of 10 on my iPhone 3. It was like,
Yeah.
um, it was like, I don't know, it's like something within me that just told me you've got more inside of you. There's more inside of you, and it's been like that for the past 10, 11 years, where it's like every single day, whether it is through football, whether it is through personally developing or anything, I just want to grow, evolve, evolve, evolve. It's just I can't get it off my mind. And I feel like a lot of trauma led into this. So when I was younger, I got bullied. I got a lot
Mm.
of shit happened, and I had to heal from within. I had to. So came a day where I was like, nah, something needs to change. So I started meditating, started reading a lot, started changing my environment, cutting off toxic people, um, just controlling this, just
Yeah.
shifting the perception of everything. And I feel like this journey has been ongoing for 10 years. And I happened just to start Mentally Great, but it's been going on for 10 years. And then I started it, I was like, all these things that helped me, why not share them with people that could help them too? So
Mhm.
it always started with the vision of improving lives. That was since day one. And then the Gary Vee thing, crazy story too. So I was with friends, and I don't know if you remember, I had this podcast running before. Um, and I had my mic, and they were like, "What do? You sing?" I'm like, I'm like, nah, I do podcasts and stuff. And they told me, imagine one day you get Gary Vee, and they started laughing as if it wasn't gonna happen. I would
Mm.
look dead in the eye of every single one of them. I was like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
and and funny enough, it happened a month later, and in the most, like, the manifestation, the law of attraction happens in the most unexpected ways, right? It's like
Mhm.
the way you've never expected. And I was
Yeah.
going to sleep. I get this gut feeling to check my phone. I don't know why. I just got this feeling. Check my phone. I reload Instagram. The first post I see is Gary Vee, and he's like, I have a secret for you guys. Something. Go check out my link in my bio. So I press
Okay.
it. There's a Zoom link. Gary Vee with 300 people, and he's unmuting one person at a time, and he's talking with that person. Now,
Wow.
the moment that I entered the room, I was I was 100%. I was gonna. It was like there was 300 people. The odds didn't look with me, but I just knew. It's like a gut. I don't know how to explain it, but I was 100%. So we
Yeah.
got to talk. I pitched to him the idea, and my voice was cracking. I was like, Gary.
Yeah.
I was like, Gary. I was out of breath because Gary was a
Right.
huge inspiration of mine, and he said yes. He said for a 10-minute podcast, and then we got him on the podcast, and that was when I started to believe again in the law of attraction, because I read the book
Yeah.
when I was 14, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And
Okay.
at 14, I started practicing it, but I didn't actually understand the fundamentals of it. I thought you
Got you.
just think, I thought you just think of something and phew, it just appears. But it's a bit different than that. You have to not only think, you have to feel it before it
Yeah.
already happened. That's the secret, the feeling. The moment
Mhm.
you feel it and you do it over and over and it just happens out of nowhere. You don't have to push it, it just happens. And that's what happened for Mentally Great on TikTok, for example. I was talking to it's so crazy, man. The story is crazy. So I wrote my goals at the beginning of the year. I wanted to make 100K dollars, right? I wanted to create a community of over 1.2 million people, and there
Hmm.
was another goal which was to have a mentor. That was my three goals for the year.
Okay.
So literally a week after I read the goals, this guy comes up. He's like, "Come check out my Zoom call. I'm doing like to make money and stuff." So I get in. I'm like, "All right, let's try it out." And I get in, and it's like a pyramid scheme. I said, "Okay, that might be the opportunity to make money."
Hmm.
I get in, and it just doesn't feel right. It's like
Okay.
I might make money from it, but it's just it just doesn't feel right.
Got you.
So I end the call, and I was like conflicted. Do I do this? Do I not do this? What do I do? So I hit up Coach JV. He's like, always trust your gut. Your gut
Yeah.
is leading you towards greatness. So I said, you
Yeah.
know what? I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going for mentally great all in. So I sit down, bro. I take big pieces of white paper, just write down the goal with complete conviction. I didn't know how, didn't know when, but I just wrote it with conviction. And that's one thing. When you write something with conviction, you write it with complete certainty that it's gonna happen. You don't have to
Yeah.
force it.
Right.
You don't have to know how. You don't have to know when, but you just write it down with conviction. The universe opens up its doors and it's like, take it. Um, I wrote it down, and literally I went. That was the 14th of February, 2020, and I wrote
Okay.
it down. 2 months later, I went from 8K to 1 million. It was
Wow.
insane growth, and the thing about this was, it proved to me how unlimited we are as humans. But
Right.
if you don't know that if you don't know that you're unlimited, how are you ever supposed to actually let it out to the world?
Hmm.
So I feel like mentally great has been a place where we're raising awareness on that unlimited potential, so people can start waking up and can start pushing out that potential to the world. Because I feel like everyone has it, but few are the ones who actually believe truly
Right.
that it's inside of them. So yeah, that's the journey.
Man, dude, that's freaking cool, dude. Like that is super cool, man. And what's really interesting about that is, you hit the those key things. It's like we can hear that over and over and over and over again, but to really dive into it, to really be able to, like you said, the conviction of what you writing down, the feeling of what you stating out there into the world, of what you believe is going to happen. It's a level in you that you got to unlock to be able to really turn that up. And that's, man, that's just because you, like you said, you proved it to yourself of if this was going on, because you read the book before, you had an idea of it, but you just was like, you know what, this is it, like this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm gonna go about it, I'm gonna be very stern and convicted onto what I'm saying, and just go for it. And it's like that, what they call it, it's like that space that you get into where it's like you not yourself but you are. It's like, you know what I mean, like it's this weird time in existence to where you state something and you're in a such a convicted state that you don't really overthink it. You don't
Yep.
really do too much of like, oh well, what if this and what if that. It's just a boom, like I'm saying it, I'm writing it, it's done, like it's over. And that's not an easy thing to get to. That's really not an easy thing to get to. To be able to do that takes years. Like you said, you always had this personality to be able
Mhm.
um to be like, yo, I'm going for this, I'm going for this, I'm going for this. And it I think you need to have an aspect of that. You need to build that within yourself to be able to get into that realm of where it finally clicks, and then you are able to solidify and actualize what your plan is or what your thought process is. But that's an amazing story, man. I had another question here. Um,
Tell me,
because
my
of
bro.
because of that long journey, right? What would you recommend then the first mindset thing for people to work on? Like what was yours, or what do you recommend for people to initially really start working on?
I feel like reprogramming your beliefs is huge because your
Mm,
beliefs are everything,
mm,
right? The moment you
yes.
change, the moment you change what you believe is possible or not, is the moment you begin on that unlimited journey. Because if you don't believe you
Right.
have more, if you don't believe it from the bottom of your heart, then you will never pursue it. You will never try to take action to make it happen. So I feel like people should first start there where they reprogram their beliefs. And now people are wondering, how do I do it? Well, it's not that easy. It's not as easy as it sounds because your
Right.
beliefs, your subconscious mind controls 95% of your life, right? It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
on autopilot 95% of the day. Same thoughts, same habits. And most of the day, you're doing the same thing, but you're just not aware of it.
Right.
So I feel like the cheat code to life is taking your wishes and your desires and putting them inside of the subconscious program. So reprogramming it with your wishes and desires. So 95% of the day, you're getting your wishes and desires on autopilot. You don't have to force it.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I feel now people are wondering, how do I actually do it? So there's many ways to do it. I feel the most effective one is deep uh, meditation hypnosis. So
Mm,
Joe Dispenza, and I made a video about this, and I feel like I've been doing his meditation for the past 18 months, and in these 18 months, man, I swear to God, Kevin, it's like I don't even recognize myself from the start. It's like a completely
wow.
different person. My level
Wow.
of conviction, yeah, my level of conviction is just how I'm capable of anything, and my confidence, my it's like everything just skyrocketed up. So I feel like everyone that is now in that state where they don't believe they can do stuff, where they're usually negative throughout the day, where they limit themselves, where they don't love themselves. I feel like subconscious reprogramming is the first step to mindset shift. And the moment this change, you know what happens. Mindset matters. The moment this shifts, everything changes. That's why I called it mentally great. The moment you change your mental, the moment you change the way you see things, everything, your perception of the world, the perception on yourself, the moment you change that, everything changes. So I feel like it's really important um, to make it part of your routine where every single day you meditate. It doesn't have to take an hour. I do mine for an hour, but it doesn't have to be that long because I've been doing it for the past 6 years. So I've gradually took it up a notch every single month and year and whatever. But I
Yeah.
feel like you should have a dedicated time every single day where you dedicate that small part of your day to reprogramming that subconscious, to meditating, moving from beta to alpha to theta. And there, that's where the doors to the subconscious opens. And if people want a tip, morning, when you wake up directly and before you go to sleep, these are the two times where you're moving into theta. So try to do your meditations at these times, makes it easier.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And that's something that's also you got to really be disciplined to do that. It's really important. It's like anything else. It's like going to the gym. Anything that you have that is something that you want to repetitiously build into your arsenal of things. That's something that once you wake up, you got to start that habit of doing that. I'm working on this
Yep.
myself right now because if you don't, if you once you break the habit, the compounding of the effectiveness isn't going to be as good as it needs to be, right?
Yep.
The day and the night, what you hit on as far as the oh, well, looks like we'll be right back. We stepped off for a second.
just happened.
There we go. There we go. All
All right,
right.
we're back.
We're
We're
back,
back.
man. Right. I might slide a commercial in there. All right. But what I was saying is that it's just it's like anything else. It's like any other habit that we build in,
Yep.
man. And you know, like I was saying, honestly saying, it's something that I'm working on right now. Is implementing those practices and even playing like subconscious mind programming while I'm asleep. You know what I mean?
Same.
It's something that
Same.
I'm looking to continue to grow my reprogramming. And that's that. I'm so glad you said that, dude, because that's something that I need to definitely hone in on more in my program too, is to let people know, dude, the reprogramming process is so incredibly key. You have to have a foundational belief system inside of yourself to really be able to start making things happen, and to even just believe in yourself to do things. Sometimes you need to have a strong belief foundation, one in yourself, or and then one in your spiritual journey, whatever that may be. It's just really, really, really important, because when you don't have that, it's this weird lost feeling that you have. And a lot of outside influences can impact you, and you don't want to just be, looking for other people to give you the answer. You want to find it in yourself, because we all got it. Like you said, that unlimited potential is in every single one of us, man. I'm so glad you said that, because it's the truth. And we all got something different. We all got a little bit of spin on our talents, on our skill sets and stuff like that. And it's amazing to see when we really tap in. Like your style, dude. Like your style is just, it's so funny, man, because it's like it's you talking to you, right? And I resonate with this so much because it reminds me of like, I always have this character in my head, like it's my other self that I'm competing with, right? And that's what that reminds me of. It's you talking to you. You're like, wait, how do you do this? And you're asking the question, and then you end up giving the answer. And it's like, it's such a cool way that you set it up, man. And a lot of other stuff that you're doing is really freaking great too. Like when you go out and you ask interviews for people and stuff like that, and you ask them questions, like that's really cool, man. That is really freaking cool. The last thing I wanted to talk
Appreciate
about,
it.
the last thing I was gonna say is what's up with the? You said you just got back from the UK, man. Let's just talk about that. What happened? What was you doing?
So I was in the UK for 3 years. I was finishing up my degree, and I actually finished. I'm done finally. Um, that's why I've been
Nice.
kind of inconsistent on all my platforms, because I've been having exams and just finishing up the year, and just that's why now I'm back. And yeah, I just finished my degree, and we're in mentally great, all in
Oh,
100%.
all in, dude. Dang, we are super in alignment, dude. So the University of Phoenix has been hitting me up. That's where I'm at in Phoenix, but they've been hitting me up, and because I put in some interest in the psychology program, man. I'm like, this is in my wheelhouse of things to learn about. I'm like, I should probably go to school and get a degree in that. You know what I mean? So what did you go for?
It was actually international business management, which
Ooh,
basically means business. They make it
okay.
fancy with the international,
Oh,
but
what?
it was like, but it was a good. It was. You know what? I'm gonna be frankly honest. In
Okay.
those 3 years, in those, so I moved to the UK, to Bristol, and I'll tell you one thing: uni, what played a big part in my personal development was being isolated for a long time.
Mm,
Um, that's where I had to fix things. That's where I had to grow mentally, physically, emotionally. And I feel like in a very short period of time, I grew really fast because I was zoned in. And I don't know if you saw a video that I made that says why comfort will kill you, will ruin your life, or something like that, where I explain where I was in that bubble of
mm,
growth, of pure discomfort, where I was just starting out these new crazy habits. It was like a crazy growth period, mentally, spiritually. And I feel like going there just was more of a personally development journey alone, rather than in university. And I feel like
gotcha.
um, it was meant to be. It was one of these things where it's like um, it had to happen in this way, where I had to travel, be alone, face myself, grow personally, um, and just prepare me for just to unleash my potential. And I think it really, really did.
Got you. That's really cool, man. Yeah, like isolation and everything is, man, that's a huge teacher, man. That is a really big one, man. Because for people that, because I have a lot of meditative practices in my program, and as far as like sitting there and like just being still to yourself and maybe sitting alone and just the meditation, that's usually why people say meditation is difficult, because they don't want to sit there and be alone with themselves. And it's such an incredible practice for that purpose as well, because it can really help you to be really comfortable with yourself. I was asking, I forgot who I got in a conversation with somebody not too long ago about um being afraid of the dark and being scared in the dark and stuff in dark places. And it's like, why? Because you're just alone with you. Like
Yep.
that's really all it is. It's just you alone with you. So when you really think about, dang, okay, what am I scared of inside of me? What is causing me to be scared? Like there's nothing else around. And once you open your awareness to knowing that, like, okay, there's really nothing else in here, in this, if you decide to meditate in your closet or something and close the door, and it's like there's nothing there, but people find that scary. And it's like you really got to ask yourself why and try and figure that out, because that's that isolation to you, of you being to yourself, to where you should be okay with that. You should be okay with that. And I went through a major growth process with that, when I initially started meditating just a few years ago, to where I was like, this is different, man. And it's so simple. I call a lot of the stuff that I be doing, that I help people to do, I call it the Mr. Miyagi, because it's that type of a deal. You won't really notice right away, like, oh, this is really benefiting me. It's like, no, me sitting there, and I did the same thing. I was like scaling up to where I got into an hour of meditation, but at the time, I had no idea that it was doing anything. It was just something that I knew I wanted to be consistent in, and I knew I wanted to get better at it. I think we share that competitive spirit, because I was like that in basketball. I really wanted to go to the league, right? So it was just something that I really dedicated my time to see what would be the effects over a long period of time of practicing this over and over again. And what it does, it makes you really comfortable with yourself. And that's one of the main things that I really think people should be okay with, is just being comfortable with themselves in their own space. Because, man, it's if you don't have that, it's really hard to do a lot of things. It's really hard to do anything, really, because you must be comfortable with who you are, and as you're going about your life. And then the reprogramming, the autopilot, all of that, it you start to finally see everything that's going on. So yeah, man, i I really appreciate you, dude. Okay, last question real quick, we got a couple minutes. um MJ and Kobe, man, who you got?
Come on, man. You gotta do me like that.
Right,
Come on.
you
Okay.
brought it up, I'm like, I gotta
Okay.
ask him now.
Okay, I'll tell you the truth. I respect, I have a huge amount of respect for both. I feel like what they've done, what not only what they've done, but the attributes they've shown, the mindset, the
Yeah.
ability to outwork the rest, the ability to just pursue your potential to be your best self. These are the things that I admire more than the trophies, more than the rings. That's why I respect both. Now, if you've got to ask me to choose one, I would choose Kobe because
Mm.
um, Kobe really inspired me. So when I was back 13, 14, used to watch his videos, and he talked about mindset stuff like outworking the
Yeah.
rest, like work ethic, just attention to detail, all this shit. And that's when I started. You know what? I started asking myself, what am I capable of?
Yeah.
And what I did was I I Kobe said if you wake up earlier, you could train more. I don't know if you saw that video. He said wake up at 3, train from 3 to 5, 7 to 9, 11 to 1, and all this. So I started at the age of 14 waking up at 3 a.m. and
Wow.
training. Yeah, 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 training before school. Okay, going to school, I was basically asleep at school. And I finished school, came back home, trained again, and
Wow.
then trained before I slept. So it was Kobe really. I feel like Kobe shaped my mindset to become what it is today. He
Yeah.
taught me just to, and I practiced that in everything I did now. So that's why football was so beneficial because it just it flowed in everything I do, the mindset, the discipline, the consistency, everything. So I feel like Kobe had a really great impact, but I have a huge amount of respect for MJ too. But Kobe's just in my heart,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's who I choose. How about you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You
get
know
it back.
what?
The Uno card.
It's right. No, to me they were the same character. To me,
Yeah.
like basketball wise, because especially like those clips you can see online where they like are moving exactly the same. It's tripped out, man. Um, but I appreciate it's basically the same thing because to me they're the same character. MJ is just in my heart because I got to physically see him play and do some crazy stuff in my life that was like, okay, hold on, like what is going on here? Like who is this dude? You know what I mean? Like he truly made me believe that superheroes were real. And I was like, cause like especially like his last few years in Chicago, I was like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like it just didn't make any sense to me. What's even more interesting about that is I didn't like dude at first. I didn't like Jordan at first. I thought he was just this showboat type of dude. Even as a kid, man, I was just like, I don't like dude. But once I saw how incredible he was, like the things he was doing, and I started researching them, and I was like buying his tapes, airtime, and his different VHS tapes and stuff like that, and I really started to see like what he was doing. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, this is changing my mind because like you were saying, it was about the work ethic, man. He was like, no, I wasn't really skilled. I had to build everything that I was doing. Everything he was like, it wasn't about trying to showcase really a whole lot. It was literally just about beating on your craft to the utmost, to as much as you can, to refine it and to make it really great. Then that's what made him make it look the way he was making it look, because to me he was the character that brought the flair and the he had the tongue out and everybody was doing a tongue out, and then the Gatorade commercial and Be Like Mike, and it was like it was just crazy, man, like being a kid in that time. And then I never had Jordans, and I finally was able to get Jordans later in life. It was like it was just always this nostalgia around him that I was just like, this dude is freaking legendary, man. But later watching Kobe, man, it was some serious stuff. Like when he went up against the big three and the Celtics, that was a heavy time, dude. I was like, this dude is legendary, man, because that also showed me that hey, no matter what, man, you can do it. Like, cause KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, man, and it was I mean, he had Paul Gasol, but come on, it was really just Kobe, dude. It was like he was a one man army, and I love that type of stuff because it's like that that Bruce Lee mentality where they just whooping up the whole school or something like that. It's like or Rambo or something like that. It's like it's just one person. Like I am not having this. I'm carrying the team on my back. I'm doing everything I can. But if I had to choose from my heart, it would be MJ first. But yeah, man, that was pretty much it.
I feel like both as players. That's the misconception of most people, and that's why I included it in the video. It's the misconception that it's talent, that they were just on another
Right.
level on talent wise. But once you once you learn about them, once you watch the tapes, once you watch the videos, you read the books, you start just getting deep into their lifestyle, their habits, their mindset. You realize it was way more than talent, and you start seeing success leaves clues, right? It doesn't just happen by accident. And you start seeing Kobe, MJ, they had the same attributes, both competitive, crazy dudes. Their work ethic was unmatched. They had higher standards than everyone else. Their attention to detail was insane. Um, and they had the mindset of winning. That's all that mattered to them. And they were
Yeah.
willing to commit 100% to making that happen. And I feel like we could learn a lot from them, both of them. That
Yeah.
once you put your full energy into one thing, and you just obsess to making it into the best it could possibly be, whether you're a teacher, an athlete, a student, whatever it is you're passionate about, if you're able to fully commit to that thing and to outwork the competition, to just attention to detail, to ignite your competitive drive, then you start actually finding out what you're capable of, and you start surprising yourself. You're like, oh shit, I can do this, and the more you practice it, the better it gets. So I feel like Kobe, MJ, um, huge inspirations of mine. And you start realizing that, like, anyone that's been great has first been mentally great. That's
Yes.
just the truth. It all starts
Yep.
here, and I feel like
Yep.
people miss that. They miss the fact that
Yeah.
it all starts here, and everyone, literally everyone can upgrade their mindset and upgrade their life, and it all starts with them. It all starts with you. You have to put yourself in front of a mirror and be like, how am I selling myself short? You have to ask yourself the real questions. You have to be completely raw with yourself. You have
Yeah.
to be like, okay, where am I fucking up? Where am I just doing shit half-assedly? Where am I not just, where am I just, not being good enough?
Yeah.
And that's where you have to dig deep, be honest with yourself, and
Hmm.
then you start putting that down on paper and you make changes. You decide that no matter what, this is going to change. And
Yeah.
the powerful thing is that small decision, and people say, oh yeah, it's so obvious, common sense decision. But common sense is not a common practice. There's a lot of people that say make a decision, but there's not a lot of people that make definite decisions where it's like, no matter what,
Right.
this is happening. And I feel like everyone could take this as advice. And Kobe said it, and it really helped me out. People usually they say this, okay, I want to start going to the gym. I want to start meditating. I want to start reading. And how much of them actually follow through?
Right.
And the way to change that is you make a contract with yourself where it's non-negotiable. When I say
Mm-hmm.
I'm meditating every day, it's non-negotiable. It's like my mind has nothing to negotiate about. It's just happening.
Yep.
Whether you wake up feeling like shit, whether you wake up feeling with energy, whether you're tired, whether you're sick, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I signed the contract. It's gonna happen no matter what. And the moment you make something non-negotiable, I feel like everything changes. I feel like
Yeah.
you just do it no matter how you feel, no matter of the outside external environment, no matter of everything, no matter anything. You just make it happen. And I feel like it's a mindset shift where anything you want to do, just say to yourself, it's happening no matter what. No matter if I wake up tired, no matter if I didn't sleep, all the excuses of the mind, it's non negotiable. And that way, the mind it doesn't overthink it. The mind doesn't step in and just say, "Hey, take a day off, just relax today,"
Right.
So I think this mindset
Right.
shift helped me a whole lot, and it was a huge part of the growth on TikTok. For 60 days, I posted every single day, and the mindset was it's non-negotiable. No matter what, a video is coming out every day. So everyone
Yeah.
can apply that, and you have it in your power to apply it. It's just you gotta make a decision. You make the decision, you commit, non-negotiable, and trust me, watch your life change.
Yep. Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate you coming on here, man, to share some of that mentally great energy, man. I really do appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much, man. So, if you guys he got merch on his channel, he got or you have a YouTube? You have a YouTube channel or you just TikTok and Instagram?
I got a YouTube. I'm getting back at it more consistently. I'm posting shorts, so that's where
Gotcha.
I'm at right now. But yeah, I've got
Okay.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Okay, yeah, and it's all mentally great, y'all. If you look up mentally great, again on his on the Instagram, I was saying you got the store up. He got the store up with the gear, mentally great, the unlimited gear, all of it. It looks freaking amazing, man. That's everything you're doing is really really cool, man. So I'm again very appreciative that you that he decided to jump on here. that is that is it. Thank you guys for watching the show. Really really appreciate you. um, this is funny, but yeah, links in the description. Follow my man here, mentally great. Follow him, and you'll be able to see where he's at. Again, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, he's on TikTok as mentally great. So go ahead and follow him on all of those platforms. But you know what we say here, y'all. Mindset matters more than anything else. I will see y'all next time. Have a great one.